Hi guys, Jen Miller here. We are going to do wall to ball core galore. So that means we're going to be working the core today using the wall and the ball. It's a great workout actually. So what you want to make sure you have is a clear wall. No pictures or waste baskets there. And make sure you have clearance around you as well. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a physio ball, one of these soft ab balls. And the way that you know that it's big enough or small enough for you is sit on it and then run your finger from your hip to your knee, and that should be a straight line. That should be a 90-degree angle right there and here. Also, for today's workout, you're going to need a mat. I want your ball on a mat, unless you're on carpet, and then you'll be fine. If you're not on carpet, certainly a mat or a yoga mat on the floor. Sticky mat is best. You're going to need a play ball, like a basketball or a soccer ball, and we're going to use that as we move in and out of these sections. And also, you can add resistance. You could use a really light weight. Today, I'm going to use a barbell plate off a barbell, but it's light. It's only about 10 pounds. All right, so one of the things you want to consider before you get started is, A, are you ready for this workout? Have you done any core workout before? Go at your own pace. Just do as many as you feel comfortable during the set. And as you get a little bit more familiar with it, because you're going to watch this all the way through before you try it, then you can try to either increase your resistance or increase the reps. Okay? All right, so let's get started. All right, guys, so if you don't have sneakers, which you shouldn't have because I don't want you to put your feet on the wall, you're going to either wear socks if you're advanced and you know that you can manage that position on the wall, or the best thing to do is go barefoot, okay? All right, so we're going to start by placing the ball right under our hips centered, and you're going to be about a yardstick away from the wall, or meter, okay? And what you're going to do is put your hands on the wall, walk forward, put one foot up on the wall, then the other, and then just nestle in to where you feel comfortable. Then cross your hands at your chest, and then eventually you can put your hands back here and even here if you want to work really hard. But for here, we're just going to start. So you're looking at the wall, your feet are centered, they're about shoulder distance apart. Now let's curl up. Ready? Curl. Good. Now just follow along with me here. As you're curling up and down, keep your chin tucked toward your wrists. You don't want your head to go back and forward as you come up, because that's going to wear your neck out. This is actually good for the front of the neck. And the reason it is because with all our devices now, the back of our neck's really strong, but the front of our neck doesn't get any work. So keeping your chin slightly tucked and going from supine into this supine incline position, you're actually using the neck muscles and they're stabilizing at the same time. Toes are pointing straight up, keeping those feet shoulder distance apart. Now, each time you curl up, push the top of your buttocks into the ball, and then really contract the low core at the same time. Good. Let's get 3 more. Right there. Here's 2. Good. Last one, best one right here. Hold it. And now just straighten those legs out for a second and just enjoy that stretch. Take a deep breath and sit up nice and tall. All right, we're going to go back to the second set of these. You can bring your hands back behind your head, and let's go again. Ready? Here we go. Curl. Now with your hands back like this, you're actually using a little bit more muscle to come up and down out of this movement, because your arms back here are weighing your body back. It's just a little bit more weight at the top of your body, so you're actually curling more weight forward. The same rule applies here. Keep a neutral chin. A neutral chin, by the way, if you just put your index finger on your chin lightly and press a little bit, then your head is in neutral position. Your hands are back here. They don't have to fold or lace. They just have to be somewhere behind your ears. And each time you come up, remember the same thing. You're burying the top of your buttocks into the ball and contracting that low core. Let's get 3 more here. Good. Make sure you're breathing out on the hard part. 1 more. Good. And hold right there. This is my favorite part, the stretch. Now, this ball can scoot out from under you if you're not careful, if you're not on a good floor. So be careful and make sure you have your hands on the ball or your hands somewhere near to catch. All right? Second position is you're going to turn your toes in. All right? This is pigeon-toed. Put your hands on your thighs and then just rock a couple of times. Make sure you're secure on that ball. Cross them and let's go. Now, with your feet turned in a little bit, you're getting a little bit more internal muscles. Not a lot, because you can't really separate them. You can put a little bit more emphasis on one area than the other. It's almost impossible to separate these core muscles. You can purposely pre-engage your core before you come up. So instead of just coming up and then letting your core engage to accommodate the movement, you can kind of hold your belly in before you start to come up. And that's kind of a pre-contraction. It's really good. Good. Let's do 2 more here. Right there. Good. And then put your hands back and let's just continue now, just like we did before. Now, if you put your hands back here and it gets a little tough and you're thinking to yourself, wow, this is a lot of curls, you would be right. This is a lot of curls. This is why it's a good, hard workout, and you got to work up to it. So you can stay here until you feel like you're ready to put your hands back. Well, let's get 6 more here. Same thing again. Push the small of your back into the ball as you drive the upper buttocks into the ball. Keep that core pre-engaged and continue to engage it all the way through. And let's get 1 more right here and hold. Good. Now put your hands under your legs. Take 1 foot down at a time. Hands back. Push back. And then sit back like that. Good. Deep breath. Now if you come down like this and just hang out, feels pretty good. That low back gets a little stretch. So we had our feet shoulder distance apart, and then we turned them in, pigeon toed. Now we're going to go penguin toed. So again, make sure you're in that nice meters distance away from the wall. You can put 1 foot on the baseboard if you want. Bring your feet up, and now you're going to turn your heels in and your toes out. Bring your feet in a little bit, and this is penguin toed. Cross your hands. Here we go. Chin still stays tucked. There you go. Good. Now, with your knees apart like this, turned out, what happens is you sort of take the hip flexors out of it, and you get a little bit more core here. You're demanding a little bit more of the core because you turn those toes out, and the hip flexors are not working so hard to keep you anchored or to keep you curling. So this is a really nice position to be in. Good. Now let's go ahead and put our hands behind our head, and we're going to continue. And this is penguin toe. The first thing we did was we had shoulder distance apart with our feet. Then we turned our toes in. Now we're turning our toes out. So it's all good. Good. And if your feet are sweating right now and when you come down off the wall, you'll have little feet marks. That's why I'm wearing socks. 4 more. And you have to come up with some better socks. 3, 2. You can even use dirty socks out of the laundry basket. I'm just kidding, don't do that. All right. So one of the things that you want to do here is make sure you're real stable on that ball before you straighten those legs. And then lean over. This is a great little hamstring stretch. You can even round your back over here because your bum is in the ball and you won't strain your low back. It's a wonderful stretch. Good. And some people like to just come all the way back, but we're not going to do that today just yet. Okay? Hands here. Walk your feet back down and push off that wall. Now the next set is a little tricky. I call this the balance beam set. You're going to put 1 foot in front of the other, lift your heels off, let your feet float down. And the only thing that's going to be on the wall is just your 4 feet and your toes. So this is a tough one, balance-wise. All right? So reposition, get your clothes out from under all those wrinkles, and walk up. Now you're going to put 1 foot on the wall, and then put the other foot right under it. So it's like you're on a balance beam. Then you're going to cross your hands at your chest. Now, this is where you don't have a good tripod stance that will keep you kind of in balance. Now you've got your feet very narrow. It's hard to stay on the ball when your feet are narrow. So when you start this, you can bring your hands on the ball and just start here until you get the motor pattern. Okay? So let's go. Hands on the ball, and you're curling up. Good. And then once you get the motor pattern, bring your hands back to your chest and keep going. So at first this is really tricky, but you'll get good at it quickly. And if you notice, my heels are off the wall and just my toes are touching. It's almost like I'm on my tippy toes. That's it. We have 2 more. Keeping that chin tucked. 1 more. Hold it. Now, if you're really good, you can just dance and switch. But just take 1 foot up and 1 foot below. Reposition, make sure you're centered, hands on the ball, and let's go again. So start here, your hands are on the ball, they're keeping you centered, and once you keep going, just there, good. Keeping that chin tucked, breathing out on the contraction or the hard part of the exercise, and stay there for 4 more. Good. This is a little bit more about balance, you feel that little core working. Right here. How about just 1 more for grins? All right, the last position I really like, it's a plie position. You take your feet very wide, knees bent, toes turned out. And you'll feel this in the low core. So you don't have to go very high on the wall. You just take your feet wide, turn your knees out, cross your hands at your chest, and now you're going to look at the ceiling and curl. Look at the wall, look at the ceiling. Look at the wall. Good. Make sure you're now doing this with me. Look at the ceiling, look at the wall. And each time you go back, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to pull your belly in when you go back, okay? But don't arch. When you come back here, don't release the tension because you don't want to arch your back and then go too far. That's where people say, oh, you know, I felt that in my back. Well, drop your hips down a little bit lower. If it gets tough, drop your hips lower to the ground like I just did here, okay? If you want more intensity, push back on the ball. So more of your upper body weight is leveraged out over the top of the ball there. Good. Let's get one more. And right there. Good. Straighten those feet out, hands on the ball. Remember, be careful on these exercises. And bend your knees to take one foot down and then the other foot down. And just sit forward and rest that back. Good. Take a deep breath. Track those shoulder muscles. One more. Good. All right, so now for the next set, we're going to go sideways. This is what you're going to need. You're going to need this play ball right here. So you're going to get that, put it down in front of you, and you're going to walk back to the wall here for a second, okay? And you're going to take your right foot. Now I'm working in opposition to you, so pay not attention to the fact that my left leg's forward. You put your right foot in front of the mat, and your left foot behind the mat. Roll the ball to your hips, sideline position, okay? So now you're putting that right foot way in front, and you're putting the left foot at least the distance of the mat apart, okay? You got the ball right here. You're going to bring your hand down and hold that ball up in the air, and all you're going to do is bring that lower arm up to the ball. You ready? Here we go. Lift. So I call these half jack, okay? You're holding one arm up, and one arm's doing like a jumping jack move. Good. That's it. Keep going. Nice and tall through this middle. So you really want to push up and reach out. So you want to cover as much air real estate as you can on this. Here's 3. And you want to make sure you stay sideways. Both knees are bent. And one more. Right there. Good. And then you stretch over. Now look, if you put your feet up on the wall like this, you can't do it. It's just way too hard. Okay, only I can do it. I'm just kidding. Put your feet down. I can't do it. All right, now take that ball under the lower hand. Now you're up higher, so you're already in tension. When the lower hand is holding the ball up, or holding the ball next to the ground, you still have to start in tension. Your feet are in that same position. This arm is up. Now you're going to bring the ball to the upper arm. Ready? Here we go. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Good. Nice job. So it's hard to breathe sometimes on this move when you come down because the lungs are compressed, working against gravity here. That's it. And keep reaching and keep stretching. Let's get 4 more. So as you come up and down here, remember, make your body as big and as long as you can. Let's get a couple more. And last one. Good. And then come on over here and hold this stretch. Feels good. All right, now you're going to take this ball right here. You're going to put it right here at your collar, holding it like a bow tie. Both hands are here, elbows are out, and you're going to come down and up. But just go a small amount at first. Ready? So it's down and up. Good. And up. What I really like about this right here is when I'm doing this, my crew is kind of swinging back and forth with me. It's like a rockabye baby. There you go. Good. Good job, crew. That's it. Good. Now, take it a little higher. Forehead. And lift. That's it. So it makes it a little tougher because the levers are away from the body. Arms weigh something too. Good. And let's get 4 more. The next set is above the head a little bit. 2 more of these. Last one, best one. Now, You're going to go down and touch the wall with this ball. Watch. Little twist turn. Touch and come down. Touch. Good. Try it with me. Ready? Touch and come down. Touch. And you remember, you can move your feet further apart if you need to. Good. Let's get 2 more. Nice. Now watch what this turns into. It's going to touch here, so it's going to touch, then it's going to touch, and it's going to touch. This is really hard because you're turning and you're rotating that torso. Let's get 4 more. 4. That's it. 3. 2. Last one, best one. And rest. Good job. All right, so very carefully move off the wall. Sit back on your ball. Put this ball between your knees and just gently squeeze it. Take a deep breath. Squeeze those shoulders back. One more time. Now, when you're working on the ball, it's funny. It actually starts to creep back a little bit. It's some sort of physics thing. I don't know what it is, but after about half an hour, it's way back over here, and you've got to scoot back up and then remeasure distance from the wall. The other thing that happens is all your clothing starts to kind of go up, so you get a bit of a wedgie, and then you've got to take a second to pull everything down and get situated again. But now we're going to do the side moves to the other side. So watch what I do. I'm going to position you, then I'm going to turn back to the camera so I can cue you. So I'll do my same side twice, but you're going to do the other side. So here's how this works. You turn and you put your left hip on the wall, put your left foot in front, and your right leg behind. So the bottom leg is your left foot. Put it in front. Your top leg, the right foot, goes behind. Okay? And now you're in that position, just there. Got it? All right, now I'm going to put this ball on the ground for a second and just stretch. Make sure you're sideways on the ball and you feel pretty comfortable. Take a deep breath there. All right, I'm going to cue you through this, but I'm going to come back to the front here so you can hear me. One of the things, too, that you want to make sure you're doing is making sure the mat is stretched out. You haven't curled it up under that ball. All right, so now you are facing the other direction. You have a ball up in the air in the high hand. So it's in your left hand. You're going to take that right hand up to meet it. Here we go. Lift. Lower. There you go. Good. And keep reaching. Nice. So we're just repeating exactly what we did on the first side. That's it. Good. And remember to make everything really big and make it really flow. Good. And stay sideways and really contract that core before you start. Here's 3. And this is that half jack arm. And 1 more. Good. And now take that ball on this hand. And remember now you're already in pre-tension, so the ball is under the low arm, under the low hand. High hand is up with nothing in it. You're going to take the ball from the ground and bring it up to that high hand. Here we go. Lift and lower. Good. Now you're using the side of your core. This is called lateral flexion. Side bending. Why don't they just say that? This is called side bending. But really, you're pushing down into the ball. So you've got a little resistance, pushing down, and then as you come down, as you lower down, right there, that's the negative part of the exercise, which is really the positive part, because that's where you get the benefits on the negative part of the exercise. Good. Here's 3. Let's get 2 more. Last one, best one, right here. Good, and then you stretch over. So now you're stretching over that ball again, so if you can't see me, you can just hear me. You're going to be just fine. Take a deep breath. Good. Now you're going to come up on the ball. You're going to put the ball right next to your collar, okay? Just like it's a bow tie. Hold it with both hands, elbows out, and we're going to go down just a little bit and come up. So this is the double-handed grip on the ball to your collar. Here we go. So we're going to lift and lower. You don't need to go as high or as low on this. This is sort of working in a little bit less range of motion, a little bit more tension range. That's it. Let's get 4 more, just with the ball at the collar. There's 3. Let's get 2 more. Good. Nice. Go ahead and put the ball near your forehead now and keep going. So if you have to rely a little bit on legs, I want you to rely on that front leg. not the back leg. If you rely on the back leg, you're going to feel it in the hip. So you're going to try to relax that back leg. In fact, take it back further if you need to get the tension off that hip. 3. Let's get 2 more. Good. Now next time you come up, push the ball against the wall. Ready? Touch the wall, twist, bring it down to the ground. Touch the wall, bring it down. Touch the wall, bring it down. Make sure your ball's pretty clean. Taking it out of the backyard mud, because nobody's not going to be happy with you if you're making dirty little marks on their wall. Let's get 3 more. 2 left. And last one. Good. All right, you're going to very carefully turn toward the wall. Come on up. Sit back down on the ball. Put that play ball between your knees. Take a deep breath. Squeeze it a little. Exhale. And come on down here if you like. All right, now we've done the front and we've done both sides. So now we're going to go to the rear part of the exercise. So what you're going to do is you're just going to turn around and come down on the ground. You're going to kneel on the ground. Then you're going to put your forearms on the ball and you're just going to relax for a second. Relax that back. One of the things I like to do is this move. This is called a seal stretch, where you just put your hands on the front of the ball and put your knees on the ball behind you, and you just kind of hold it there, and it releases the back, believe it or not. A little bit of pressure, and you see some people lift their feet. Don't do that. Some people can lift their feet, like Paul Check, he can actually kneel on top of the ball. I think he can actually stand on it. But we're not going to do that today. All right, take a deep breath. You can also round your back, drop it, round it, drop it. Let me have 2 more. Round it, drop it. 1 more. Round it, and drop it. Good. All right, so what you're going to do now to work the rear muscles of the core is you're going to kneel, okay? And this is kind of hard because you have to adjust once you get on the ball. So you're going to roll the ball into your thighs, take a deep breath, and then fold over the top of the ball, okay? Now, what you're going to do is put one hand down, put your feet against the baseboard, and you're going to lift yourself off the ball and push back with this hand that's on the ball. So watch me. Push it back. And now you're off your belly button, right? Because you don't want to be on your breakfast from here, okay? So hands are on the ground at first, and this is called rear back extension. Some people call it a hyperextension, but you're just extending through the spine, all right? So we're just going to come up, reach back, come down, reach back, come down. You want to keep your heels on that wall or baseboard as much as possible. Good. So you're opening up and you look straight ahead and then look straight down. You don't have to look up the whole time. Good. 2 more. Last one's going to come up and hold up if you can. Bring your hands down on your buttocks and just come down and up just a little bit. So it's a little bit of a pulse. Don't really come too far off that belly button. Keep your head, your neck, your chest, and shoulders moving with the entire torso here. So no head bobbing, no bobbing for apples. We'll see people do push-ups like this. So we want to keep that whole upper body moving as one unit. 3. Let me have 2 more. That's one. Yippee-yi-yo, you did it. All right, come on down for a second. Relax that back. And the way that you do that is just straighten your legs. Take a breath. And 1 more. Good. Now, if you have the ball in front of you, just hold it here, okay? Bring it up to the bow tie. And what you're going to do is come up, and then you're going to reach back with one arm and touch the wall, okay? So you're going to start here. Ready? Reach. Back to the center. Reach. Now, you don't have to touch the wall. You can just kind of aim for it. You know, if you've got short arms like me, you have to reach further. That's an excuse, really. That's it. We have 4 more there. Down. 3. Use the glutes too. The buttocks. Good. And 1 more. Great. And there's all kinds of exercises that you can do behind you like that. Now I'm going to show you one more option. So we're just going to get rid of the play ball there for a second. Okay. And now I'm holding a barbell plate. Okay. And this is a weighted hyperextension or back extension. Don't go heavy at first. This is really actually pretty heavy, you know, for this exercise unless you've been doing it a long time. You see guys in the weight room, they go like this. They hold the plate and they come up and down. That's kind of what we're going to do. But this is a really cool plate from the Step Company, and it has handles. So you're going to start here. Okay, relax your back for a second. Deep breath. You're going to pull this weight about midway up so your arms are about 90 degrees, and you're just going to come up and down. Now don't come up too high here because you've got resistance. If you come up here, you compress the spine. So you don't want to do that. You want to come up just a little at a time, looking down the whole time, and just lifting this wheel. And some people, you'll see some people turn it, but we're just going to lift it right now. 2 more. Last one. And rest. Good. Put that over there. I'm going to come back to my knees, roll this ball out, and I'm just going to get a nice kind of modified child pose stretch. So feet are still somewhere near the wall there. And this is called a lateral. You make a fist. I kind of hurt finger here, so I'm going to do my best. Make a fist down here near your thighs. Okay? Roll the ball out. Look at it. And then roll it back. This is not a hard exercise, but you have to roll the whole body out as one unit. This is more or less a dynamic stretch right here. If you keep your hips back and roll those arms in, it's just a stretch. So right now you got 2 options. You can do this stretch. If you've had enough, you're just going to do this stretch, back and forth. Or you can do the full body, roll out, and come back. Now if you've got a good enough mat, this is going to be fine on your knees. But if you don't have a thick enough mat and you're feeling like a lot of pressure on your kneecaps, just don't go out as far. Let me have 2 more. It's like a plank, really. And come out and hold. So this is sort of a plank. And come on back. Good. And then roll the ball in. Come on up. Take your knees on the ball. And just hang out here for a second. Take a breath. Good. And you can just shrug your shoulders or twist or sidewinder. You know, these are these little sidewinders. Good. And that is wall to ball core galore. Now, depending on how hard you've worked on your core, you can do the more advanced movement patterns. For instance, your hands back here and some of the things I showed you. But make sure that you're doing the exercise within your fitness level and within your rep goal. And that's different for everybody. So as you progress and you get a little bit more familiar with the workout, you can do more and you can do more reps. I will see you next time for more core.